Dennis.
Well, this September 16th, Jackson County Commission work session, order, roll call.
District 1. Present.
District 2,
Present.
District 3,
Present.
and District 4.
Present.
Quorum is present. We'll have our invocation by Mr. Porter and our pledge by Mr. Gay. First item is approval of the agenda for our meeting. We have 4 items on the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve that agenda? Are any changes before we proceed? Motion to approve it. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Next item, public comments. We've had one individual sign up to speak, Greg Wade.
Thank y'all for allowing me to speak. My concern, County Road 536 down at my residence. I've lived there for 14 years. When I moved in, it was a church road. Every time it come hard rain, sends great all out there and it's great. So the road's never been established, I guess, with a good base and whatnot to it. I now have a neighbor who's moved in and has purchased the land next to us and is clear cutting or logging his property. They have agreed to me that if they was to see that they're going to damage my road, which is now paid after 7-8 years of me trying to get it paid, is now paid. But they agreed that if they was to damage my road, they would stop. But they have not stopped and they have damaged it. Worse, there's a wet spot under it. I'm aware that there's probably not money to repair this or fix it. Over the years I've been there, the dirt, gravel have washed out. I've had new tile put in. And also my power that runs to my place runs under this road. It's not up on poles till it's feet. My concern is it could get worse. They have put a makeshift road across my 3-inch water main that they're driving trucks in and out. Thursday night when it come to bad rain for just a little while, they was down there with skidders and stuff pulling out loads of logs down this road after it's saturated. And I'm concerned with my road being damaged. It ain't mine, I know, but it's a driveway to my residence and it not being repaired, or maybe the funding not being there to be repaired. And I just want to address y'all with this issue I have. Well, I don't know.
What community is this?
Plantation Point area, the road was never, I don't think, designed to carry loads in and out. It's a dead-end road. And there's a residence right where you turn off onto that road. He lives on the corner, then I live at the end of it. It's about a half-a-mile road. And they're up there beside my residence. And I'm not trying to cause no trouble for my neighbor, because that's my neighbor. I mean, he moved in after I did, and I talked to him, and it's just an argument, so I didn't know where else to turn it to come to y'all.
Mr. Widener, do you know anything about this situation?
Mr. Miller called us a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. How long has this road been blocking?
They pulled in there about 2 weeks ago.
We'd sent somebody up and had to start. We did see some equipment in our forever before that. I don't know where they started. I guess we probably need to go up and look at it. If they are damaging the road, and I'm sure they are, but if we could take action from that and go forward. We just, we can't go and just post a road or close a road or anything like that to stop a light. If we are causing damage, we probably look at where they're causing damage to it. Mr. Porter might have something to add to this.
I think it really depends on what kind of damage it is, and
take a look at it and see, and we can address whatever issue might be needed. But if they are damaged, if their actions are damaging the road, we can certainly hold them accountable for it.
They're
We
already-
went out there, it's pumping, it's pumping, for the weight, it's causing an issue. Commissioner Bellman and I rode out there, and it's definitely, that rut's already started in the road.
The area where it is, my power line runs under the highway there too.
But the entire length of the road.
It's right in the center. It was about where the pump was, you recall that?
Yeah, it was right there, that first residence right there. Has it gotten any worse than the other spots up there?
Yeah, not on the, not, it ain't got no worse, it just got worse right there when they come out the other night with it. All that water rushes off of that field and our property right into that area, that's the low-lying area. There has been times over the years that I could not even bring a pickup truck out. Water's so deep there, it don't carry out fast enough out to the ditches, and we've got ditches waist deep that are it's just a wet spot. But I informed the people that is logging, and he said if there was any signs of damage that they would stop, because there's a log yard 500 feet over in the field on the same man's property that was established several years ago. It's not that they couldn't set up over there and come off on Highway 17. Our road, like I said, I don't believe it was ever made to hold this weight.
We'll, if we can take a look at it,
We'll
follow up
look
with
at
the
it
law.
first thing in the morning. If we can get a phone number, if we got it.
I've got it right here.
I've got it on this one.
The old couple options, you know, Porter probably verify this. We can look at the possibility, if the road area doesn't approach the road, so maybe require a lot of company to put up a bond and cover any damages.
Like I said, I ain't trying, you know, it's my neighbor owns the land, and I'm trying to get along with him, but it's to the point that I can't.
Any other questions or comments? Commission? We'll take a look at that, and Mr. White will be in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now move on to our discussion items for the commission meeting. The first item is the TARCOG MOUs. We have, I believe, 4 memorandums of understanding with TARCOG regarding the Medicaid waiver program, the Alabama Care program, the aging program, and senior RX services that will need to be approved by the commission. I have a copy of all of those here for you. If anyone would like to take a look at them, they'll be in my office, and Mr. Porter can take a look and see if there's anything else in these that we need to look at. And Ms. Thurman, do you have anything to add on those?
Not at this time. If you have
This is-
any questions, just give me a call.
This is something we do every year, correct? It's annually. So it's just something that needs to be reapproved. It basically sets us as the authority to handle the funds or works with the council meeting for the funds for these different programs. Is there any questions or comments on that? If we have none, we'll place these items on the agenda for next week. Like I said, I have these copies. If you want a copy, I can make one. There's several of them though. So you can either come by and look at them, or I can get you a copy if you'd like. Next item is regarding insurance for retired employees over the age of 65. We currently, and we did find a resolution on this, Mr. Ford. Currently, it is the county's policy that we will pay insurance for retired employees even beyond the age of 65. They will remain under the county's insurance program at the county's expense. And I'd ask Mr. Porter to put together a couple of resolutions that may change the way that that's done, at least limiting past the age of 65. Have you had time to prepare those?
I did, in draft form, but we got the resolution, I think this afternoon. I need to double check. What I did was in existence, but it shouldn't be a problem.
So what I would like to recommend is we take a look at this next I think I would at least recommend that we stop paying for that coverage past the age of 65 when Medicare takes over. And I'd like to look at maybe even possibly where new hires do not have that same guarantee of the insurance being paid for. It costs the county quite a bit of money to do that every year. And we need to look at the benefits we offer and maybe rework even our pay scale and our benefits in the long term. But this is something I think we need to look at pretty quickly, of course, for the future. Are there any questions or comments on that?
What kind of money figure are you looking at right now for this particular item?
I would not ask that we eliminate what we're doing for anyone, but for just over 65, we're spending about $50,000 a year. That's if we look at just those that are still receiving it past the age of 65.
Over 65, does it have a limit, time limit, or is it just
We'll continue to pay.
continue?
And that, it's basically a secondary coverage. It is less expensive than the primary coverage we give to employees prior to age 65, but it still costs us quite a bit per year.
Are you saying we would grandfather the current employees?
I would recommend any current employees not get it past 65, but I think at least, even if we grandfather any, we need to at least set it to where no new hires receive that guarantee. I think this needs to be stopped at some point. We need to think about the future of the county from the financial aspect. And like I said, in the long term, we need to rework our pay structure and rework our benefits to be a little bit smarter, in my mind, of how we do it. We can always give this benefit to somebody, but you can't, I wouldn't want to take it away from someone that's already receiving it. But if we take it away before they come on board, it's always something that can be given
Well,
them.
my concern is those that are 1, 2, even 5 years away from that. They've put that many years into the county. And I would have a problem with not grandfathering the current employees myself.
Any other comment? I would personally like to see it go ahead and do that, but if that's the concern, we, at least, like you said, grandfathering the employees, I would personally support that. I think we need to do something to show some changes on this stuff.
New hires, I can see that, but it's, actually it would be at the minimum probably 10 years down the road before we realize any savings. If they were hired at 55 and retired after 10 years.
Right. And that's something, yeah, in that sense, even 10 years, I know it doesn't help us out now, but I think it's something we need to think for the future of the county.
You know, one thing we can look at too, I agree with you, that, you know, people it's 5 years, at least 5 years close to retirement. But if somebody's, you know, 15 years from retirement, we need to find a happy medium. I mean, with this budget, you know, we're having a time trying to figure out how we're gonna pay for this stuff.
What do you do with an employee that's 5 years and 9 months away?
That's what I mean, we're gonna have to come to some kind of agreement. It may be 7, but what I'm saying is we're gonna have to come with something. I don't think we can wait 15 years.
I agree, it needs to be phased out, but it's hard for me to take away a promise that employees have worked under this promise for several years. Move the promise.
From where we are as far as the current policy that gives broad latitude to the commission. I mean, the policy presently says that insurance benefits will be provided by the county for employees, which would include retirees, based upon the available funding. So the mechanism is there. If you want to modify it, you certainly can.
Would we need to, in that case, amend the resolution to do that, or?
Yeah, you would need, if you want to change it, then you need to do it by motion. You can do it by motion.
Okay.
That's an appropriate motion for that purpose.
Any other questions or comments? If, what I'd like to do then, based on what I'm hearing tonight, is present for next Monday night a motion that we eliminate this for new hires And then, of course, we could continue the discussion further for, if we want to look at this further, but if there's no opposition, like I said, maybe next Monday night, put a motion on the table to eliminate this for new hires. Any opposition to that?
You know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If you eliminate a benefit, our pay scale is not, you know, even comparable. We're gonna have to do one or two things. Redo a pay scale. You know, that's why people try to work for the county. And you need to remember that. If you start whittling away and taking things away, you're gonna have to get a pay scale in order, to get you good people.
Think about it, though, if you're 65, you're gonna have to restrict, you know what you're saying?
Better see.
So you're having both right now. They don't have a problem with it. It's
I
hard.
believe, you know, having it as a secondary though,
Yeah, the county insurance can stop at age 65.
No, we still,
No, right now.
that's what I'd like to do, right now we're paying.
It's that way.
Be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can be 90, or still pay. You could barely pay insurance for like 35 years before you retire.
We'll take a look at that. If there's still some concern, if we could draft that motion and then put that on the next work session, then we'll have some more discussion at that point in time as to how we want to proceed. Any other questions or comments on that? All right. Next item, resolution to use the sick leave towards the years of service. You have in your packet some information on this, and what was brought to my attention last week was that several entities within the state allow their employees to use their sick leave toward their years of service. In other words, someone may have 24 and a half years of service and 6 months worth of sick leave built up, and they would be able to use that to retire a little bit earlier. I think the state, if you look in your packet, I think you can do that up to 3 years. Allow them to accrue up to 3 years worth of sick time. I think our current policy gives us an accrual of up to 6 months. So this is something, another thing I'd like us to take a look at. This could save a little bit of money in allowing folks to retire early, but normally at this point in time we pay that sick leave out. It's my understanding that if they use it towards their years of service, it's not paid out, so that would save the county money in that form as well. So if
we're
everyone
not currently paying out sick leave, correct? You know, the issue-
half the sick
I
leave.
think the policy is they can accumulate no more than 1,200 hours.
Right.
And upon retirement, get paid for half of that.
That's right.
And if we allow them to put it all toward retirement without pay, that will save money.
Correct. So you said 1,200 hours was the,
That's nice.
it was right, right at the 6 month mark. And Derek, you have been to a meeting on this, is that correct? Do you have any better understanding or anything else? So that would, again, it'd save us, right now we do pay out half of that sick leave, so there's a possibility of savings there, if someone wanted to utilize that. Any other questions or comments? This is something we need to take a better look at. I got this information, I think, on Friday. I'd like to take a look at it a little bit more, too.
I think something they can dig over there.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'd like to place that also on the first work session in October for further review after we've had some time to take a look at that. Okay, next time, regarding the invoice for the sewer design county park, I really wanted kind of an update on the county park project. You have been given kind of giving an estimate. This is by no means a 100% figure, obviously. We'll have to wait until we bid out the project. So try to keep those numbers yourself, but just an estimate of what this project would look like as far as the cost. We do have, or it looks like by the end of this year, we'll have around $225,000 cash balance in the park fund for this project. So keep that in mind while looking at these costs. And with that, if you'd like to share kind of.
That's a high estimate,
No, it's hopefully a conservative estimate.
yeah, I think that's on the high side. That's the reason why we need to keep that number under our hat, because number gets out, they're gonna say, well, they're willing to pay that number. We won't get it as cheap as possible. And, I mean, you know, so, the update is we've got that ready, he's almost ready with the bid packet, all right? And, 26A permit, we're just waiting on it. I mean, by the end of this month, it's been about a month since we turned it in, so hopefully by the end of this month, we can put that thing out of bid.
Okay. Questions or comments?
That's about as many sites this time as we put in the last time. Plus you got a,
Is that included in the A and B?
Yeah.
vote?
B is the backside, the backside of the campground, A is the front side. But it's all gonna be in one,
System.
yeah.
Any questions or comments?
How many total sites were we looking at?
Right around, I think it's right around 58 or 60.
I thought we put 64 in the last time. But we added those 8 sites that I showed you, Mr. Reynolds, that day.
Yes, sir.
Which is gonna bring us more revenue, which will be $230 per spot, so it's gonna pay for itself. And the logging's done on it, we just gotta do the cleanup on it, take all the trees out.
Just like your waiting list for camping sites down there.
Yeah, we got about 40 people, and everybody on the list wants sewer. So,
Does the pump station include electrical work that may be needed, or we have to have that?
Now, I think it doesn't include the county will have to bring power to the pump station sites.
Right.
I mean, it's fairly readily available to both of them. I believe they might have to stick a transformer in both.
Do you think you might get just a approximate estimate on that, Carl, so we can add to
just
this?
to set 2 poles and
Just,
maybe.
you know, we need to kind of know, because we're probably looking at $4,000 or $5,000 more that we kind of need to know.
If you had set 2 poles, 2 transformers, probably $2,500.
$2,500.
That's not too much. And I don't even know if we'd have to set a transformer, because it's one close to each side, so it's possibly a matter of having to set a transformer, just have to set a pole. But I'll get you that surprise.
It'd just be nice, that way there's no surprises from you.
Yeah, I'll get you that surprise. But we'll have to take it to the top of the pole, right? We'll have to take the power to the top of the pole, and then they'll have to take it from the pump station up to the top.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you. Bill. Okay, move on to our reports. Mr. Manning? Mr. Widener? Mr. Porter? Chief Deputy? Mr. Miller?
No, sir.
Mr. Guthrie? Mr. Venable? Mr. Ledley?
The town of High Top gave me a thing, asked me to read this. The Fall Festival is Saturday, October the 5th. Starts at 11 a.m. We would like to invite everybody to try to come out for that day and continue through the day. October the 5th, the Fall Festival at the town of High Top. Thank you.
We will have the Woodville Community Meeting, is it next Thursday, the 26th, is that correct?
Yes.
And that'll be at 6 p.m. at the Bob Jones Center in Woodville. That'll be our District 4 community meeting. We will be discussing the vicious animal ordinance at the end of that meeting, after we've had the community meeting, so I'll invite everybody out for that. Several members of the commission will be going to Washington next week to speak with our representatives on some issues and some plans that we have. We've got several ideas, several things we want to work with them on and work with some of the other agencies with, and we think we, by going up there and speaking with them, we'll be able to kind of set the tone for some of the things and hopefully get some assistance on some of the things we want to do to move Jackson County forward. So we will be doing that next week. Our budget hearing, we will have a budget hearing. We'll continue this meeting and head downstairs for our budget hearing. I'd also like to ask that we continue the meeting from tonight. We'll continue that hearing till Friday at noon. So we will have another budget hearing Friday at noon to finalize any discussion that we have in hopes of getting something passed next Monday night. So we'll have the budget hearing here shortly downstairs, and then we'll have that final hearing Friday at noon. So that think that concludes everything that we have, so at this time, we'll entertain a motion to recess.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Factory days you was talking about, I thought factory days is Saturday,
This Saturday.
from 10 to 3, 10 to 5. Factory fire hall,
10 to 5.
I think it's 10 to 5.
This Saturday,
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, entertain a motion to recess, head downstairs. Motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.